is the General Manager of the South African Banking Risk Information Centre. He joins us now to take a closer look at those stats as far as business, consumers and the commercial sectors are concerned. He's in our Pretoria studio. Kevin, thanks very much indeed for talking to us. Let's start with the frightening statistics. Bank robberies up 200% in the period. Why are we losing the fight here?
Good afternoon, Devon. Certainly a bit of concern, as indicated by the National Commissioner. And our stats obviously confirm that, that bank robberies and bank burglaries have increased over this period. And it's not necessarily all doom and gloom, but I think one must also just look at some of the good news stories, is that that we have seen a steady decrease as of last year in terms of ATM attacks, particularly where explosives have been used, with an 11% increase during this reported period and a 17% increase in the same period last year also reported. I think those are some of the good news stories. Getting back to the bank robberies, obviously, a number of issues probably spring to mind is that as you implement security measures in one environment, probably a little bit of a displacement takes place, but certainly a lot of concern about bank robberies.
Well, the perpetrators appear to be outsmarting authorities, don't they, related to bank crime? Not to say, as you say, that the police haven't had any success. Sure, they have in some cases, but we'd seen 7 bank robberies the year before. That went up to 21. So the question still remains, what are we missing here?
Well, certainly I think, firstly, from a perpetrator point of view, some of these perpetrators are unknown at this stage. Some of them have been arrested. There's been a number of arrests since those initial bank robberies. As recent as yesterday, we had a very good success in terms of bank robberies. But the idea behind this is probably information and intelligence, and ensuring that all the perpetrators responsible for these crimes are arrested, and that'll probably contribute to the decrease.
Mm-hmm. Kevin, what do you make of the cash in transit robberies? No improvement from the year before. We've had the same number of robberies as the year before. It's a headache for banks and businesses, isn't it?
Cash in transits are certainly, I think it affects probably a number of other industries, not only the banking industry, but and will always be a concern, given the fact that much concern has been expressed very recently about the accompanied violence in incidents, and will always remain so. But I think generally, both the banking industry and the cash in transit industry work very closely with the police service, and obviously also revise plans and strategies that have been implemented to address these issues.
Where would we find the reflection of the credit card and internet banking fraud among the stats? I tried to look for them, but how do you make sense of how we were doing on that front?
Look, generally, the fraud is a very wide concept in terms of this, and both from an internet and a card point of view, there's an increase in that. But I presume that all of that is incorporated in the fraud statistics that were revealed by the Police Commissioner.
Yeah, I see there's a section called trio crimes, and I see that's up 10.8%. They list trio crimes as crimes related to personal safety and business, such as house robbery, business robbery, and carjacking. Now, it would be very interesting to see the stats for next year when you look at the spate of mall robberies we've seen this year. Of course, they are not covered in this particular report, are they?
They would obviously be the subcategory of the contact crime, but I think more importantly, in terms of the trio crimes, you've touched on a point. What you're not seeing within the aggravated robbery subcategory, as indicated by the National Commissioner, is that there are a number of other robberies that the banking industry is very, very concerned about, and one of those being what we refer to as associated robberies, or probably better known as follow-on robberies, which probably generate and could be generators to some of the trio crimes, given the fact that people are making large cash withdrawals in banks, then being followed home, using their vehicles, businesses, and then at their homes, and then being robbed of that cash that has been withdrawn. For that matter, we're seeing an increase in this type of crime, particularly those who are en route to the bank to make deposits from small business individuals and so forth.
Well, we're going to have to leave it there. Kevin Twiname, the General Manager of the South African Banking Risk Information Centre, thanks very much indeed for talking to us.